question was about?
Question was on the Mageran. If the Prime Minister appears to be rejecting the Mageran, what are the avenues do we have to handle the current situation?
Well, I'm afraid that the situation of COVID and also the economy and the social problem will get worse because there is no idea about how to handle this issue. We have a lot of ideas about how to handle this problem, but if there is no Mageran, we cannot make our ideas, we implement our ideas. But it has been shown that the government may plagiarize ideas but do not know how to implement. So they will not be able to achieve the objective that we have determined for ourselves. So that is a problem that we face. It's going to have very serious repercussions.
Thank you.
So I would like to call upon Haji Benanyus. Before I allow Haji, just a reminder for our international press, if you do have a question, don't forget to type in your question in the chat box so I can give you your turn. And I'll give it back to Haji Benanyus. Go ahead.
Agong, Tun.
Salam.
Tun, nak tanya, kalau if you say that Mageran is a bit too extreme for the Prime Minister to accept, what about the government? Was that discussed with the King? Whether maybe the King could suggest to the Prime Minister to come up with a unity government, which is your idea also when you resigned last year? Was that discussed?
No, it was not discussed. But the unity government can only function if we have the right people participating. And these people may not be politicians, they may be other people. So, well, when I suggested this, I had some idea, but of course it was shot down. So, the unity government is not a matter that was discussed with Agong.
Alright. Next, Tun M from Asahi. Go ahead.
Hi, hello Tun. Just wanted to ask that just now you mentioned that Agong has asked you your opinion about whether election can be held next year, and you said that it's still dangerous. So just want to ask you, when do you think election can be held? In 2023 or when is a good time to hold elections? Thank you.
When we achieve herd immunity, that means to say that we have given vaccine to 80% of the people in the country. At that stage, perhaps we are quite safe. But before that, there is this danger that what happened after the election in Sabah will happen throughout the country.
Alright. Then I'll give it back to Zikri. Zikri, go ahead.
Tun, I'm asking on behalf of Michelle from Situ. Tun, can we just clarify, during Anwar Ibrahim's phone call with you, was there also a discussion on terms of cooperation between Pakatan Harapan and Pejuang against Perikatan Nasional?
We didn't talk very much about that. In fact, I don't remember anything substantial that was said about that. But what I did suggest is that we should write to the Agong, because as you know, after our submission of the anti-emergency motion to the Agong said he would see me, but then he didn't see me. So maybe there is something that made him decide not to see me. So I thought that if we just suggested that we should write to Agong to seek an audience with him. So I wrote. I don't know whether I'm not rude or not, but I wrote. And as you know, the Agong actually replied to my letter. But at the same time, of course, the Agong expressed a desire to see me and also all the other political leaders.
Okay. Last question. I'll give two more questions lah. One is for Mel. Go from CNA. Go ahead, Mel.
Hi, Tun. Well, what do you think? What do you think of the idea of a parliament or a hybrid parliament resuming before that, before elections?
Well, I think Parliament should be called anyway. But the problem will be that if there is a motion of non-confidence in Parliament, that will not have any effect, because I suspect that the people who support the present government, they support because of their own problem. They don't want to be outside the government. So if they bring down Muhyiddin's government, they themselves will be out of the government. And to them, being out of the government is very dangerous because they have court cases. They feel that if they are in the government, they may be able to manipulate things. So if you go to Parliament to discuss, to move something and have a vote, that is not going to do anything to change the government. The government will still be there. On the other hand, the public has got a lot of opinion on the way the government is handling all the problems. So when we have Parliament sitting, we would be able to voice the views of the public and maybe to reach some idea. That is, I think, all that Parliament can do. On the other hand, of course, as you know, this emergency does not conform to the requirements of the law. The law says that for a declaration of emergency, the Parliament must be laid before Parliament, and Parliament will have to decide. But this has never been laid before Parliament. So perhaps if Parliament is sitting, the first thing to do is to see whether this emergency is supported by the government, by the Dewan or not.
Alright. Last question. Soalan terakhir kepada Zikri. Go ahead, Zikri.
Just asking again on behalf of Michelle Tun for you. Tun, did the Agong say mention when Parliament will resume, if any possible date, and also whether or not the emergency will be extended?
What he did say was that he is not against sitting of Parliament, but it depends upon the government. The government must decide.
What about extension of emergency? Was that a possibility discussed?
There was some talk about that, but it was not addressed fully on that issue, on extending the emergency.
Okay, baik. Terima kasih semua. Terima kasih kerana hadir, kepada rakan-rakan media. Terima kasih kerana soalan-soalan yang diberikan, sangat bernas, insyaAllah. Is there anything last that you would want to add on to? No?
No.
Okay, kalau tak ada, kita akhiri kita punya majlis hari ini. Terima kasih semua. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay.